Hey, my name is Callum, and I like to make games. The current game I'm making is called Hamazon, and it's about delivering boxes as fast as possible in a warehouse run by pigs. I want to say the hardest part of solo game dev is the amount of skills required. Ultimately, you don't need to be amazing at everything, just alright will work. You need to be passable at a lot of things, like coding, level design, writing, modeling, art, and, among many other skills, sound design. I want to say I can do most things reasonably well, but specifically, I'm good at coding and I'm terrible with sound design. I think my problem with sound design stems from how I started gaming. I started with a PS2, then Xbox 360, and Xbox One, but they were all set up in the living room. Because this was in the middle of my house, I always had to keep the volume muted for my parents and family. I never had my own space to play games until eventually I built my PC. Even now, I don't notice if a game is dead silent. Nothing feels wrong when I throw a box at a wall and there's no noise. Right now, my game has not a single audio file in it, but I'm spending the next 2 weeks to fix that. The first place I'll visit is the home of Saint Kenny NL. If you don't know Kenny, he is a lovely person that creates and releases free assets for everyone to use, especially game devs. So I downloaded multiple sounds from him, such as some cool sax ones to use for collecting boxes, and some clicking sounds for the UI in the game. It actually wasn't too hard to add these sounds. But the difficult part is coming up. Like I mentioned earlier, if you throw a box at a wall, it should make a sound. But there's a lot of working parts to such a seemingly simple mechanic. The first thing I need is a way to check if a sound should even be played. I don't want max volume for every tiny bump. Then I need a collision system. I need to know when a box hits something, but not constantly, or it'll slow down the game. Lastly, I need a way to figure out what the object collides with. Was it metal, wood, cardboard? Otherwise, it won't know what sound to play. The first step is kinda difficult, but pretty straightforward. I will check the velocity of the boxes, and if they're moving fast enough, then I can mark it as allowed to make noise. But I need the other parts in order to complete the velocity system. Creating collisions is super duper easy. I'll just use the built-in Godot Area 3D to map out the area of the boxes and props, but I'll make it slightly larger so there's no false negatives. With all that done, I just need to slap the systems together and quickly code it to detect other Area 3Ds and get their names if it collides with them. Making all this wasn't too bad, but it's not over yet. I have a strong feeling I'll have to revisit this code soon. Anyway, I added the Area 3Ds to everything and now I gotta test it. And it works. Next up, I need sounds for all these collisions. Usually, freesound.org is my go-to, but I spent over 20 minutes trying to find a single cone sound and really struggled. Out of desperation, I went to YouTube and tried to just find videos of people hitting traffic cones. But I came searching for bronze and I found gold.
EasyVid presents the 9 best traffic cones. Let's get started with the list. Starting off our list at number 9, the Squat 3M12-inch is the perfect non-intimidating cone to use to direct traffic at a busy event or in a school parking lot. It'll show people where they...
After watching the traffic cone tier list, I was motivated to give freesound.org another chance. And eventually, I found good sounds for everything I needed, but with these sounds in the game, I ran into some issues. You know how people say, let's not reinvent the wheel here? In short, I remade the entire wheel several times over 8 hours. I remade the areas, tweaked some settings, changed the hitboxes on everything, changed the detection system, remade the areas again, tweaked some settings again, remade the areas yet again, remade the audio system, and finally, I have something that sort of works. However, it's not quite good enough, and I'll have to rebuild the wheel one last time with a new audio system. My idea is to create a sound player that will spawn in, play the sound, and then delete. Thus, overlapping sounds can happen without the previous sound being cut out. And I have the option to customize this more in the future. Making it wasn't too bad, actually. I briefly tested it, and everything sounds right. So now I need to make the options menu work. And it works. Another area I need to work on is adding music to the game. But this can wait. Making this universal sound effect player also gave me the idea to do the same, but for a fader. There are multiple times in the game I need to fade in or out in order to disguise loading. Previously, I just made a new fader for every single scene, but this can cause slight glitching when changing levels. Surprisingly, this was pretty easy to make. All I really needed to do was create a color rectangle in an easily accessible place and create basic logic to fade it in and out and even change colors if necessary. And it works. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been putting it off by working on the fader, but music is another really important part of sound design. Anyway, that's hard, so I'm gonna work on a pause menu next. This also wasn't too bad to work on. I spent a little while styling it to look the same as all the other UI, but the hardest part was just modifying the options menu so I could reuse it for the pause menu and main menu. Unfortunately, I'm out of distractions and I have to work on the music next. I know absolutely nothing about music and music theory, but after looking around a little bit, I saw a lot of people say the Chrome Music Lab was great for beginners. After 30 minutes of hard work and clicking random buttons, this is the best I could do. And it kinda sucks. Another music tool I heard about was Beepbox. Only 5 minutes of messing around later, I got scared by all the options and I gave up again. At this point, I'm pretty desperate. I have no idea how to make music, and I don't want to bother any of my friends for some. Eventually, I had to face the facts, and I gave up. I went to itch.io and looked for some copyright-free music. If you don't know itch.io, it's basically the largest and best place for indie creators to publish their stuff. Whether it's music, assets, or whole games, you can upload it for free here. This is also where I release all my games completely for free. You can try them out if you want, but fair warning, I'm not super proud of all my previous games, and they can be pretty scuffed. But I've found some great music from Tall Beard Studios and his Free Loops asset pack. It's actually the music I've been playing the last 30 seconds or so. I really liked the music that he made, and thank you if you see this. I quickly went through and nabbed 3 songs I liked. Actually adding music to the game was the easy part. I just wrote code to select a random song after a random time and slowly fade it out and fade in a new song. And with all this done, I'm incredibly happy. This process took far longer than I wanted, as did the making of this video, but it saves me a ton of time later on and allows me to work on what I enjoy. I want to thank you for watching this devlog. You can like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and let me know any suggestions you have. I'll read all the comments. Fair warning, but the future devlogs may take longer since I just returned to college and that takes up most of my time. This will of course heavily affect working on the game and creating these devlogs. But thank you for watching.